Welcome to From Deep. This is episode 6, and I am your host, Luke Jansen, and with me is Phil Wiseman, my co-host. Say hello, Phil.
Hello, beautiful people. Episode 6. Thank you for listening.
Let's talk some basketball. We got From Deep, NBA Weekly, NBA 2K Sim, Hot Take, We the North. If you have no ideas what those are, don't worry about it. You're soon going to find out. Phil, without further ado, let's jump into it. So, we have our From Deep questions. We always do our silly questions first. We're going to have some fun with this one. We are going to play rock, paper, scissors. Who goes first? For those of you listening in just through audio, you're going to say, well, how do I know what you're putting up on the screen? Don't you worry. We got you covered. We're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then either say rock, paper, or scissors. Now, you're just going to have to believe us that whatever we say is actually what we did. So that's a big trust. Hopefully we'll earn your trust through this show as we continue.
We're going to find out. We're going to find out when you put up scissors and there's paper. That's what's going to happen.
There's a good chance that I just do that by accident, but that's okay. Okay, Phil. Yeah, let's do this. So I'll go 1, 2, 3, and then you call out where you're going. Okay.
Okay.
All right. 1, 2, 3. Paper. Oh, okay.
Paper.
Okay. All right. You ready again? 1, 2, 3. Paper.
Rock. You got it.
Yes. I mean, there was never any doubt I was gonna win. So.
Give me your question. What you got this week?
I'm a competitive person, Phil. I need to win rock, paper, scissors. Like, I'm going to actually record this, and if I am on a losing streak, I'll probably just quit my podcasting career early
Just
on.
become a rock, paper, scissors professional?
Yeah.
I mean, they have those competitions out there. You could try it out.
I could. This could be the start of something new, a new venture. But yes, my question for you, From Deep. Well, let's switch over to the segment. So, people got to hear that sound, that beautiful From Deep, because it's coming from out far. The question for you, Mr. Phil, if the NBA was sued today and all basketballs were no longer available to be used, so Wilson, Spalding, they all said, nah, you can't use basketballs anymore. What sport would the NBA borrow the ball from to use going forward? I think that's a good question, right? Look at my creative mind. Look at me go.
So if the NBA got sued and they said that basketball design, it can't be used for basketball anymore.
Yeah.
We're actually using that in NASA research to bring it to Mars to make the aliens eat from this shape. Is that's your theorem?
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. So then and then they have to borrow from another professional sport. So they can't just make a new basketball. They have to borrow from so you could do a golf ball.
A golf ball would be something interesting, but I'm going to go with the classic volleyball. I think I could hear the people yelling at me, Phil, volleyball. And I'm going with a volleyball because I play volleyball once a week, besides when it's pandemic time. And you can dribble that thing. You can play around with it. It's a little bit smaller than an average basketball, but there's some grip to it. A soccer ball's a little too slippery and loose. I think you got to go with a volleyball.
So how deep does Steph Curry's range become with a volleyball?
It's a little bit smaller than a basketball, a little bit lighter. I mean, you could get a little more influence from the crowd. Like you could have one side blowing rather than like yelling if you were doing it at a home court game, and that could affect it, I think, to a certain degree.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go maybe a couple feet further back. Yeah, a couple feet further back.
Yeah.
Was this what you were thinking, or were you thinking another kind of ball?
So I went a little bit more different. I thought you were gonna pick soccer ball, to be honest.
Okay.
But then I was gonna the thing there is it's too slippery. Like you wouldn't there's no shot there. The volleyball does have some grooves in it, but it's really light. So I don't know how dribbling. I mean, yeah, it's kind of there.
You can dribble it. I can tell you can dribble it for sure. Yeah.
So I was thinking to go old school basketball, or you could even go like kind of like college basketball. I was thinking a rugby ball.
Oh yeah.
Mind you couldn't really dribble that well.
Rugby's it's not the same circular shape though.
But be the only... maybe you learn how to dribble it. Like if that was your professional sport and you had to use a rugby ball, I think you learn how to dribble it.
There'd be a lot more passing. There would be less ISO play.
But you still have that grip, Like I feel like the shooting aspect could still be there.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how big a rugby ball is, so I don't know if that would fit in the rim. I'm hoping it does. I don't know what the
I think you
bouncing
got to expand the rim, depending on how it's going in.
rebounding would be very different. Trying to read that.
Yeah.
But yeah. Just more for the giggles. I would love to see rugby ball be the
Or it would be something else.
a puck, Phil. That's what I was gonna pick. A hockey puck.
Oh, so Canadian of you. So Canadian of you. A puck. God.
Could you imagine?
Slap that on the floor. Wouldn't even move. No. Wouldn't work. Oh,
No.
that's a good question though. I like that.
Ping pong ball. Yeah, there's a lot of fun theories you could go with there. Let us know in the comments below what you guys would pick. Would you pick a rugby ball? Would you pick a volleyball? A golf ball? A baseball? What
I think
one
the
would
people
you
are going to side with me on a volleyball.
I think volleyball makes the most common sense, but I'd love to hear some people's opinions on it. Give me your best. All right, Phil. Your question.
Good.
Time. Let's jump into it.
Okay. Word association games. Do you know what I mean when I say that? Like a word association game.
You say lamp, I say light bulb.
Yeah, exactly. So that kind of word association game for you.
Okay.
So if you were to label the top NBA stars as food restaurants, who would be what and why?
As food restaurants.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
I guess any kind of restaurant. I guess I don't need to specify food when it comes to a restaurant, because a restaurant just serves food. You could also go beverage here as well. So if you were to label an NBA star as a restaurant, what would be? Yeah, who would be?
Okay, so Shaq, we're gonna give Burger King.
Okay.
I think
Burger King because he's the king.
It's just he's the king, and he got a little bit bigger in his final years. He's a Burger King. We'd give JJ Redick. I'm trying to think. He's a big like restaurant guy.
Yeah,
so I'd give him.
You gotta go something nichey and something.
Yeah, I don't know enough
grungy.
like 5-star restaurants, but he'd be some type of fancy like Italian restaurant.
Okay.
LeBron, you gotta go Taco Tuesdays.
Taco Bell. Is that what you're saying?
Thing. We'll give him Taco Bell.
Oh, okay.
Trying to think who's a drama. Draymond Green brings a little drama. I like his game, but he's a little drama, so I'd give him Dairy Queen. You gotta throw in the queens in there, right?
Dairy Queen.
Yeah, you got your Burger King, you got your Dairy Queen. So just throws he throws a little drama out there.
Who's McDonald's then?
Oh, McDonald's, the clown. Well, I think you would go with Nikola, right? Joker.
Nikola Jokic. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Joker.
Okay.
Yeah, so he could be McDonald's.
Okay.
What other? I'm trying to think of some other. Subway doesn't really have like a.
I got some ones here if you'd like. I can
sure. Yeah, give me what
Tell me what you think.
Yeah.
So I had LeBron as the keg. High class, consistent, great service. LeBron James.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. You definitely put more thought into this than I had.
Well, I'm putting you on the spot here.
You did put me on the spot. I think my Shaq Burger King's the best one I got.
Shaq Burger King's a great one. So when I think Lou Dort, a player from Montreal, you think of some classic Montreal-based restaurants. I'm thinking of Dunn Smoked Meat. A lot of meat for fair value. Great contract for Lou Dort. Offers a punch across the stat lines.
Mm-hmm.
Steph Curry, best three-point shooter of all time. He's really good at one thing. Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A closed on Sundays. He's a man of faith. He's really good at one thing like Chick-fil-A and chicken.
Okay. Chick-fil-A. All right. Steph Curry.
James Harden. He's really good, but could be adverse effects after leaving. Taco Bell. James, little Taco Bell. Okay, I got two more for you, or three more for you. Starbucks, value and established for a while, on the pricier end, but a good coffee nevertheless. Keeps coming back, but never wins best drink. Chris Paul hasn't won a championship. Starbucks.
Okay. All right.
Okay, this one. Okay, so my second last one here. Yeah, I think you can guess this one. Outback Steakhouse. Who do you think Outback Steakhouse would be?
Like, is this a current NBA player?
Yeah. So it's an Australian restaurant, if that helps you. So Mr. Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons. Okay. He's Australian. He's from Melbourne.
Yep.
Okay, and then my last one, Subway. A lot of variety for a different bunch of sandwiches. You got wraps, you got cookies, you got drinks. Russell Westbrook. Rebounds, assists, lots of points. He's all across the board. Like Subway's got lots of different sandwiches.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go. So,
how long did this take you, Phil? I do need to know. for
Oh, it
science.
took me a little too long. Took me a little too long to be honest. I was really thinking about it over this past week. I'm like, what's a question I can ask Luke? And I'm like, ooh, NBA stars and restaurants.
Yep.
I don't know why this came to my mind, but it was just something that I thought was fun and a little bit silly. So
Yeah, no,
instantly I
no.
thought from
Hey,
deep.
man, that's exactly what these questions are supposed to be. Like for example, using a tennis ball to play basketball. You know, these are questions you're not going to hear from any other podcast because they're a little bit silly, and that's okay. We bring the silliness. But
Exactly.
now we're going to get into some of the bread, some of the cool stuff that's happening this week. We're talking about a lot of different point guards, and that means it's time for bam, NBA Weekly.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of cool things happening this week. For the third week in a row, you've probably heard his name multiple times. So we're going to talk about him again because, well, his name is Steph Curry, and he's unbelievable.
Mm.
You're like, am I watching the episode I watched last week? I've heard about Steph Curry before. What's no? And I've heard this name before. It's okay. It's good. I'm glad you've heard this name before because the man is playing unbelievable. 96 threes. Not 26, not 36, 96 threes, what some players hit over a whole season in 1 month. Crazy. Unbelievable. What's your thoughts on that, Phil? I got a couple notes there, but I'll let you kind of chat about it first.
Sure. Yeah. So an unbelievable month. There was a great video I sent you from a great meme account on Instagram of the NBA posting a YouTube clip of all of Steph's threes, and it was 20 minutes long for the month of for the month of April. It's the most ever. Second most being James Harden, who had 82 in November 2019.
Mm-hmm.
So he eclipsed it by 14 threes. Averaged 37.3 a game on 52% shooting and like 47% from behind the line. And so I got one more stat for you here. He had 13 30-point games, which is the most 30-point games a player aged 33 or older has ever had in a month, surpassing Kobe Bryant, who had 12. So most 30-point games in a month for someone older than 33. Amazing streak he's on. Can he bring the Warriors in the playoffs through the play-in? We'll find out. I guess we'll see what happens, right?
I did read that stat about the 33 and above. Sometimes I find, and I think it's a cool stat, but sometimes I find like you like see this tweet and like people are like cherry picking stats.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
Like what is it? I know. It's just like 30,
that's the beauty of
33
it.
and above, 13 games and
Yeah.
30 points. It's
32 years old in 250 days. No one's done it more.
No, it's or
No.
you'll see like first player to ever record 10 points with 700 other players. But on May 25th, because it was snowing, he's the only player to ever have done it.
Yeah, exactly. You're not wrong. Some of
I
those
still think
stats are
it's
quite
cool.
crazy.
I mean, it
Yeah.
is 33 to be 33 years old and having that many 30-point games is very impressive. I just always see those stats and I'm kind of like, man, this guy was trying to create some content. He's like, oh, I need a stat for Twitter today. What can I do? What can I do?
What can I do to grind it in?
Good on them for their research because to figure that stat out, there does have to be some quality research that goes into it. You know what I mean? Like you do have to put some time into figuring that stat out. But yeah, no, it's incredible month. Really, the only thing I wanted to tack on there, you just talked about James Harden, how he beat that at the 83. Forbes Tommy Beer tweeted when Larry Bird led the NBA in three-pointers, and if you haven't heard of Larry Bird, which I'm sure you have, but if you haven't, arguably, you know, the guy that kind of created the three-point shot, you know what I mean? The guy who big shots down the stretch. You just think Larry Bird, he's your three-point king. During the 1986-87 season, he led the NBA in three-pointers, and he did so with 93s on 225 attempts.
Wow.
In April, Curry made 96 on 206 attempts.
Wow.
So
almost shot as much in a season in 1 month. Wow.
He did. He shot six. He made six more threes on roughly, 20 less attempts than what Larry Bird did in a whole season while leading the NBA. So you can really see the difference. I mean, Steph Curry obviously shoots a lot more threes than your average player, but not that much more than some of your high volume shooters now. It's incredible to see how much the league has changed. But I thought that was kind of cool. I mean, Larry Bird obviously very well known for his 3-point shooting, and Steph Curry just did what he did in a season.
Yeah. in 16, 17 games, he did what he did in a month. Incredible. Or in a
I,
year. Yeah.
yeah, no, it's crazy. And then we're gonna keep talking about point guards. This is a point guard that kind of fallen off the radar in the last couple of years due to injuries and being on a team that really wasn't doing much. And that was Washington Wizards, now Houston Rockets, John Wall, is now the NBA all-time leader in blocks by a point guard. I kind of saw that
Amazing.
stat pop up, and I was like, what? Like when I think of John Wall,
He's still so young, right?
yeah,
That's
he's
the
what is he?
crazy
Is he
part.
30?
He's 30.
1?
Yeah, he's
30,
30.
31?
No, he's 30.
Is he 30? Okay.
Yeah, he's
Um,
30. Yeah.
you know, you talking 4 years ago, 3 years ago, he's like, is this the not? And I wouldn't say he was ever an MVP candidate, but he was definitely talks of like, is this a top 5 point guard? Is this one of the best point guards in the league? Him and Bradley Beal are unbeatable. And then he kind of faded off because he didn't really ever do anything. And Washington doesn't get a lot of press conference.
And injuries play a factor, right? I think he tore his ACL is what happened. He had a really bad injury. Oh no, he did his Achilles in. He did his Achilles in.
Achilles, yeah. So either though, like, I mean, he's only 30. He's still got, probably 5 years in the league, barring injuries. Maybe even more, but for sure, probably at least 5. A lot of players played with 35 that are, really good athletes. And he's now the all-time leading point guard in blocks, which is just crazy. That's just not a stat I would have seen. And it's kind of, so just to give you a rundown, in 2018, he had his most, which was 1.1 a game. He's 6'4", mind you. So
over a block a game as a point guard is an incredible.
Yeah, incredible.
That's
then
wild.
in 19,
Wow.
now mind you, it was a little less games because he had an injury near the end, but I think he played half the season. He had 0.9. Then 2020, he had his injury, so he didn't play the whole season. And then he came back this year, and in his, I think, 46 games, he's at 0.8.
Wow.
So, like, it's not like he's fallen off. Like, I kind of thought he would have fallen off. Athleticism, it always takes a little bit of bounce back. You don't throw yourself out there as much after an injury like that, especially for blocks, because you have to jump in weird angles to get blocks, like, especially as a point guard, because most of those blocks are probably coming from, like, a weird kind of, like, jumping to the side. But, yeah, good on John Wall. He's done really well. I don't know if you looked at his stats. He's averaging, like, 20, 21, 7.9 assists, like, almost a double-double a game on a team that really has nothing.
Yeah, so I guess like you could look at his shooting splits. They aren't that great, but I think you can't take away from the fact that he is like the king of the chase down block. Like the speed that he still has to kind of come back and chase those blocks down. It's very impressive. And nothing can take it away from him now. He's the number one of all time for point guards blocking. Amazing.
For those that were wondering too, we'll just quickly sum this up. But so the list goes: John Wall, 427 blocks. At second, Jason Kidd, 425 blocks, who's also 6'4". Then you have Magic Johnson, who you think would be a lot higher, to be honest, at 6'9", with only 361. Baron Davis, who was kind of another little shock at number 4. I never would have, like, I knew Baron had a lot of hop. I knew he had a lot of energy in his game. I liked him. I wouldn't have guessed he has a lot of blocks, but 360. And then Nate McMillan with 332, who used to play for the Supersonics back in
now coaching the Hawks. That's right. Wow.
Yeah. So all these guards, other than Magic Johnson, 6'4", and Jason Kidd 6'3". So I just thought that was kind of cool. Jason Kidd as well. Like when you think of Jason Kidd, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, he's a gritty defender, but like I wouldn't have guessed he had 425 blocks. You know what I mean? Like I maybe steals, but like when you look at Jason Kidd, you're not like, oh, that guy's gonna block me on my dunk attempt or on my shot attempt.
You would guess Magic out of that list would be leading by a long shot.
By a long shot.
Third is kind of crazy. That's wild.
And like 100 about 70 blocks back. So
yeah,
mind you, shorter career, I guess you could say. But at 6'9", you would have thought, and especially the point guards at that time, you think. But either or, it's pretty cool. Good job, John Wall. You're pretty much going to secure that. There's no active players that I saw were anywhere close to
on that list. No.
I don't know where Russell was. I forgot to look where Russell's at, but I would imagine if I don't know, he can't be that close because I didn't see him in the top 10. I don't think so. Yeah. And then we're going to actually, now that we're talking about Russell, we're going to jump into our last part of the NBA Weekly. We're going to talk about Russell Westbrook because he's awesome. You gotta love him in his worst, and you gotta love him in his best, because that's what Russell Westbrook is. He's gonna have months of like, does this guy even know how to play basketball? To the next month, him hitting game winners and averaging a triple double. That's who Russell Westbrook is, and he is on an accomplishment of being 6 shy from matching Oscar Robertson for the most triple doubles. And Phil, you've disappeared from me, but I know you're still on mic, so we'll just keep chatting. You just sneaking away, are you?
I'm hiding on my triple dot sneaky snake.
Sneak a snack. So Russell Westbrook, triple doubles. He was asked like if it feels like an accomplishment to him to how many he has. He said, "I honestly believe there's no player like myself. And if people want to take it for granted, sorry for them, but I'm pretty sure if everybody could do it, they would do it." And it's a valuable point. A lot of people say, we're so accustomed to Russell Westbrook getting a triple double. Like I see his stat lines and I don't even go like, oh, cool. Like I just like, oh, cool. Russell did that again. But when you really start to break down, like this guy just does everything.
Mm-hmm. He's so impressive.
Oh, it's unbelievable. I mean, he's definitely going to take the all-time record. He's only 6 triple doubles away. That's easily doable. He's going to probably potentially get that this season if they go into the play-in tournament. There's a chance because you're going to see Russell go crazy in the playoffs. That's just who he is. There's no way he's not getting a couple triple doubles in the playoffs, which right now they're 2 games back from the 8th seed. So there's a good chance they're getting play-in tournament unless they just randomly lose the next 9 games, which not going to happen.
I don't think so. I think they're on a hell of a tear, so I think they've
Yeah.
got a good chance to do it.
So just to give you a stat there too, which was pretty crazy. In his last game against the Spurs, Westbrook got his 12th triple-double in the month of April.
Wow. Just some incredible stat lines. Curry making 96 threes, John Wall getting blocks like crazy, and then Russell having that many triple doubles. Oh, amazing.
So he passed Wilt Chamberlain's 1968 record for most triple doubles in a single month. Yeah, incredible. Like 12 triple doubles in a month. Like that's not just like a hot streak here or there. Like that's 12 games. How many games do you even play in a month? You play like what? 15?
Yeah, 15 probably at your max because one every 2 days. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, basically every game he played, he was averaging putting up a triple double. So, and you could argue that he's on teams that aren't as strong, but still to go up. Okay, points, assists, sure, you expect that from a point guard, but like the rebounds, and we're not talking like, oh, he just squeezed by with 10. Like we're talking he'll go out and get like 15 or 20. Assists, we're not talking like, oh, he squeezed by with 10. There's games where he's getting 20 to 20 plus assists. Points, he's not just getting 10 points. Like these triple doubles are like 20 points, 20 assists, 15 rebounds, 5 steals, 2 blocks. Like he's just everywhere. It's insane. This is point guard month. That's what we'll say. Point guard month for sure.
Found his block totals 289 for his career.
Okay, so he's really not going to be in that unless he goes crazy. He's not going to be in that.
Yeah, he saves a lot of his energy for rebounds, so makes sense. Makes sense.
Cool. Yeah, so that's it for our NBA Weekly. Now we're going to kind of talk about our NBA 2K21.
Count it! He's on fire! I'm
Downtown. So Phil and I last week, as you heard, or if you didn't, we drafted the top franchise point guards, and we are going to be simming them. Today, what we're going to talk about is just more about our starting 5, kind of our plans going into the game, what we're expecting, and Phil, why don't you talk about your 1 through 5 and give me your 6th man as well, and we'll talk game plan after too.
Sure. So my starting 5 of Stephen Curry at the 1, Kyrie Irving at the 2, Allen Iverson at the 3, Russell Westbrook at the 4, and Oscar Robertson at the 5, with Isaiah Thomas at the 6. Off the bench. I know. All these point guards coming at you. We're talking about Russell grabbing rebounds. Talk about Steph breaking records for threes. I think that's a pretty dynamic starting 5 if you're talking point guards. So
yeah,
I'm
in trouble. I regret my second overall pick because I got scared. Phil took Steph Curry. I took Derrick Rose. Sorry, my 4th overall pick. Phil, then you took Russell Westbrook. And I kind of panicked for a second. I was like, oh, I need height. And I went James Harden. And I should have went Allen Iverson. I thought, oh, he's too small. But I like looking at my team, if I see an Allen Iverson at my 2, I'd be a lot more happier with that. But that's okay. I still got a decent team. They're a little bit. I got some height on you, I think. Just a couple inches here and there. But I got number 1, Steve Nash, my floor general. He's got some decent defense, so I think he'll try to stay in front of Steph Curry. Derrick Rose versus Kyrie. So I got, so Suns, Steve Nash for 1. I got Derrick Rose at the 2. I got Gilbert Arenas at the 3. I got Fat Lever from the Nuggets at my 4. For those of you who don't know him, that's okay. Neither did I, but he gets a lot of rebounds, so that's good. Number 5, we have the Rockets, James Harden. And 2 of those guys are obviously shooting guards, but we kind of put them in. 2K actually put them at the point guards because they really are the point guard. They just had the shooting guard position name, but they ran the ball almost every single play through them. And then for my 6, I don't know who. I was just looking at my team here, man. I could pick all those.
Yeah.
You know what? I'm going to throw Jason Kidd in there because I need some blocks. So we'll have Jason Kidd coming off as my 6. So what's your plan, Phil? What's your game plan going into this?
Shooting, and more shooting. Curry and Kyrie shooting. Allen Iverson doing some mid-range, and then we got Westbrook and Robertson to grab some boards. That's the plan, and then some more shooting with Lillard off the bench. So that's my strategy: shooting, and more shooting.
Okay, so I built out a team that is very ISO centric, but the cool part is when you don't have a center, your guys can get to the rim. So you think of Derrick Rose, a Gilbert Arenas, a James Harden. They don't really have to worry about a center contending them. They just got to get by their guard. So I'm thinking, and then having Steve Nash, if he's looking for cuts and you're kind of running the ball there, like I think we can get a lot of points. Our biggest thing is too, I brought in Jason Kidd off the bench, Tony Parker, some guys that can play some really solid defense because your shooting output is going to be nuts. And I'm just hoping that they somehow kind of play the defense that they should. But 2K definitely does favor 3 points. And they're hard to guard, so I'm nervous. I'm not as confident as my last one, and the only reason I lost the last one is because Zion Williamson didn't get the ball 99% of the time like Luka did. But hey, I'm just whatever.
Doesn't like to lose, ladies and gentlemen.
I do not like to lose. That is for sure. But
we're gonna find out if he loses another one. So the second one he loses in a row, or does he sneak out and not on top?
Well, you know what? I won the rock paper scissors. So if I lose this, I came out on top somewhere else, right? If
you
I
can
lost
clip
both,
that. You can clip that for the rest of your life.
Yeah, exactly. If I lose every single one from here, I won the first one. So that's what's important. But no, I'm looking forward to the game. We're gonna do like we did last time. We will have the announcing. Phil and Chris. I don't know. You guys suiting up again?
Absolutely.
You guys are going to suit up. I'm going to try to figure out. And a tie. Okay. I'm going to try to figure out how to suit up. And we're going to try to figure out how to Zoom to get us.
How to figure out how to suit up? What do you mean?
Well, no, I know how to suit up, but I mean, we're going to try to figure out how to get the camera to rotate me in so y'all can see my pretty face.
Yeah.
For those that are looking for it, you do need to subscribe to the YouTube channel because this will not be an audio podcast. Just due to the fact that it's very visual. The whole game is visual. It's going to be recorded through NBA 2K21 on the new Xbox by Phil. It's going to be a fun time. The other one is a blast. I encourage you to go check that out. That was where we did the top 25, under 25, and played them out. I unfortunately lost, but I still think Phil put the sliders up. There's no proof against it. This is what I'm going to hold to my grave. But yes, I'm hoping for a win this one, but I'm definitely not as confident as my last game. But that's okay.
We'll find out. We'll find out come next week.
Steve Nash will need to be the true coach for me. It won't be me. That is
and you got Jason Kidd, another coach on here.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if I want that coach, but I love you, Jason Kidd. Great player. Coaching, you got to work on it a bit. Let's jump into our hot take, Phil. Are you ready for it?
Let's do it.
Sicily flame. We're getting torched. Phil, what are you bringing to me?
I think we're bringing probably a 3. So I think that's a habanero spice, but I would say put up the Shaq face because the Shaq face is the better of the scales.
It's part of our podcast. Shaq is, one day he's going to announce for us on this show. I fully believe it. Whether it's by me just clipping his audio into our podcast and not actually Shaq, but we're going to pretend it was Shaq. What do you think? Should I do that?
I like it. Sounds good. Copyrights, don't come after us. We are just simply joking. There's no lawsuit here. We are just 2 podcasters with 20 subscribers.
20. You're giving us numbers. I like it. Yes, you listening here, you're going to be part of our 20 subscribers. We're at 16. Hit the like and subscribe button. Become part of our top 20 on our way to million.
That's right. So for our take, there will be an upset in the first round of this year's playoffs. And my
Toronto
prediction,
Raptors take out Brooklyn Nets for the championship. No,
that's right. They got to win. I don't know. They got to win 3 more games to then tie the Wizards and then make the play-in. So I'm not sure how much our Raptors are going to get in, but I'm predicting that the Los Angeles Lakers will defeat the Nuggets in a 3-6 matchup. If as of today, they would be playing the Nuggets in the 3 spot, Lakers in the 6, and the Lakers would win. What are your thoughts? Is that a Shaq 5?
Is that a Shaq 5? I mean, yeah, I think so, because when Jamal Murray went down, I think everyone kind of expected the Nuggets to kind of like not fall off, but I don't think anyone expected them to win. What'd they win? 8 out of 10 games? 9 out of
Something like that. They've won 5 in a row right now.
Yeah.
When they beat the Clippers yesterday.
Yep.
And they beat the Pelicans this week with Jokic blocking Zion basically at the buzzer to win it. That was an amazing highlight if you haven't seen that.
They did.
Without Jamal, yeah, they've been starting PJ Dozier and Facundo Campazzo in the backcourt. Facundo, great name. Not as good as Jamal Murray. PJ Dozier was a late rotation player last year, so it's a little bit tight. But of course, they have the Joker as the future MVP potentially this year. We got Michael Porter Jr. that you know I love.
Hey, we brought him into a hot take. That's coming to fruition, my brother. That's coming to fruition. His ceiling is quite high, and now that he's getting more touches, because rightfully so, he's proven himself to be a baller. Which I think he said. He remember last year in the playoffs, he asked for more touches. I want more touches. That's right. They basically everyone's like, well, you're not going to get him because Jamal Murray's getting like 40 points a night. Like we're not, like in Joker's killing it. Nowhere to give you touches. You're basically Chris Bosh out of the 3. You can take your role. Big 3. You can average 30, but it's not going to happen. And now he's kind of the second, and he's killing it.
He's second fiddle. I think so. 9 out of his last 11 games, he's above his season average. Season average is about 19 a game. I expect him to continue that trend, and he's shooting 54% on the season.
Yeah,
which is an incredible stat for a second-year player. I mean, to be averaging above 50% on shooting is quite impressive. So, yeah, I think we called that right with Porter Jr. I think he's going to be a really key player for them. If they're going to beat the Lakers, he's got to have a really big series. He's got to really step into the limelight and really go for it.
A super high ceiling, but that's why we're saying this is number 5, because we believe the Lakers are going to take them out. That's why we're here. That's why it's a hot take, because the Nuggets really truly have not slowed down without their starting point guard, and they have a lot of talent. But I do think that we will see the upset by the Lakers over the Nuggets. Now, this is barring, of course, injuries. It always is. Yep. You never know what's going to happen. I do think that Anthony Davis matches up well against Jokic. Who knows how to say his name? Big J. Jokic.
Something like
Nicola. But yeah, no, I think Anthony Davis and LeBron James are, they're really good.
They're not a 6 seed. In normal seasons, they're never a 6 seed, right?
If LeBron James doesn't get injured. Yeah. If Anthony Davis and LeBron James don't get injured, they're not there. They're coming back healthy. LeBron James is LeBron James. Now, I do think he's only got a couple weeks now to get into playoff game shape.
That's right.
So that is a little bit scary. Now, I do think he takes care of his body, but he is older, and that does sometimes take a little bit to get back into it.
He was interviewed this past week and was basically saying that he doesn't feel the same after that injury, and he says he doubt he will ever feel the same after that injury, because a high ankle sprain sucks. I've had one, you've had one, I'm pretty sure, and they're not a nice injury. It takes years to get over that. So yeah.
It's definitely could slow him down, but I think LeBron, as we talked about,
LeBron's
LeBron. He will get it done. Yeah. If that means he's not driving as much, that means he's playmaking. That means he's getting his players open shots. That means Anthony Davis takes more shots, which Anthony Davis has shown again and again that he can hit those shots. So I think this is kind of what we expected with LeBron as he gets older. He's still a starting player for your team, not because he hits shots and he doesn't have to. It's because of his playmaking ability. He can post you up and kick out of the post. Like when he slows down, I see LeBron moving into a 4.
Yep.
I see LeBron moving into a 4. Okay, you're guarding people who aren't as quick. You're still playmaking. You're still part of the touches. And yeah, LeBron is LeBron. He's going to be injured, so that might mean we might not see any crazy dunks, but that's okay because LeBron's taking care of himself, and he's not going to be stupid. He's not going to see a fast break and try to slam it down. He'll do the layup because he knows there's a long part. That's how LeBron has got to where he is. That's why he's done this season after season after season after season of being the best of the best. It's because he's smart.
Consistent and persistent. That's our LeBron.
What was the restaurant? He's the
keg.
He's the keg.
Yeah, he's the keg.
He's the keg.
High class, consistent,
and Taco Bell.
And Taco Bell. That's right.
The keg's tacos. The keg's
Yes.
tacos. That's what he is.
Some fine steak tacos, if you will. From the keg.
Yeah, I see the Lakers winning that one. There's going to be an upset there. Yeah, that's our hot take. I think everybody else might be on that hot take, but I don't know. The Nuggets in fight. I'm kind of interested. Like that's one of my hot takes where I'm like I kind of believe in it, but there's that small part of me like the Nuggets are playing really well.
Well, the playoffs are going to be great. Clippers versus Mavs is another one. Like the Mavericks could easily upset the Clippers if they're in real good shape. Well, not easily, but it'll be a competitive game a really competitive.
Well, we saw it
series,
last year. It was a competitive series without Porzingis.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
Who's the Suns up against
if we were doing straight playoffs, it would be Suns versus your Portland Trailblazers.
Okay. I could see there being some.
Yeah, so it'll be the winner. Yeah, winner of Grizzlies and Trailblazers would be the 7th seed.
Okay.
So I would assume it would be the Blazers.
You have a ton.
We'll see.
My concern with the Sun, and yeah, the West is going to be the most interesting. I think the East is kind of like set as long as like no injuries happen. I think I don't think there's going to be any upsets on the East side. I do think that Portland versus the Suns would be an ideal matchup just due to the fact that the Suns do not have a lot of playoff experience and the Blazers have a good amount of it now with a lot of veteran players who know how to perform and play like crazy in the playoffs. Do I think they're the team that's going to win? No, but I do think they'll cause some issues for the Suns if that's the matchup that happens.
Yeah. Yeah, and Dame and CJ versus Booker and Paul would be a real fun 7 games.
You got Norm there. Norm now. Melo, again, now accepting his 6-man role, coming off the bench. They're healthy in the post, which they have not been for the last couple of seasons when they get deep in the playoffs. Or sorry, not deep, but into the start of the playoffs. So yeah, the West is going to be a fun playoff series this year.
Absolutely.
I don't think there's a favorite. I don't in my back of my head, I don't think I have a favorite from the West that like these are the people that are going to win. There's no chance anyone's even coming close to taking them down. Do you feel the same?
I feel like it's very hard to pick against LeBron anytime he's in the playoffs.
Of course.
Last couple times he's been in playoffs, he's made it to the finals, right? So
but he's also now coming off an injury. So like that's what I mean. Like, there's not like this team. Like I look at the Lakers, I'm pretty sure they'll be the team to title contend, but I'm not like this is for sure. Like you look at the East Coast and it should be the Nets. Like there's like unless the Nets get injured or they have like a huge blow up, it should be the Nets in the finals. Like it was like the Golden State. When the Golden State was amazing, it was kind of like they're going to be in the finals. There's no other team that's really going to compete. The West, I look at all these teams, I'm like they all have players that could bring their team to the next level and get to the contender. It's going to be a lot of fun watching the West Coast playoffs this year.
Yeah, playoffs, baby. We're almost there. Almost there.
So Phil, are you ready, though, for the most important thing of the week? It's when we talk about our favorite boys. We the North.
Give me some Raptor news.
Give me some Raptors news, Luke.
Some Raptors news.
Mm-hmm.
And you asked me for the news, but you got to give me the news because you're my Raptors guy. You give me the
All right. So it was another week that could have been forgotten for the Raptors. They beat the Cavaliers. There was a viral moment of Kevin Love throwing in the ball, very upset, inbounding it straight for a three-pointer in the corner from Flynn. It was something else to see that Kevin Love play. You could see he's really not a happy camper there. That then again, maybe a little bit out of context because there was a play that happened prior. They lost the Nets. Surprise, surprise. Freddie Gillespie had 5 blocks in that game, so that was a nice standout game for a man on a 10-day contract. They lost the Nuggets. A big collapse with the second unit in the fourth quarter, and another loss to the Jazz, which ends up being them being tied in 7th last, which could hopefully mean good lottery odds.
29% chance of a top 5 pick right now.
That's pretty good. I will take those odds. And we have other news in the sense that Kyle Lowry played his 600th game as a Raptor.
Ooh,
And yeah, that maybe
that
a
is cool.
bit of a conversation later down the road for our Raptors of all time. Who's the top one there? Ken Birch, career high 20 points, 4 assists, and 2 threes against the Nuggets. And that is your Raptor news.
That is, and they're going to win the NBA championship. So that's our last. That's our last part of the Raptors.
Exactly, they're gonna win it.
I believe it. No, yeah, it's kind of. I like the play-in tournament. The more I thought about it, it's kind of cool because if you're like a team that's close, it's like, well, you don't just give up because like if you're in that 12th seed, like I think it's important for the Raptors to play hard because there's a chance you make it. And like, what do you lose? Do you not take a chance to get some playoff experience over getting a pick if you're in that kind of like almost in there? You know what I mean? Like it's really, I do like it because it's kind of making players like teams not tank because there's that chance of like, to me personally, I think it's if you have a young core and you have the team you like, do you take the chance that you could get playoff experience or do you tank? If you have a garbage team that has nothing at all, sure, you tank. But if you have like a Raptors team, like you look at their team right now, I think you try to get in the play-in tournament. You have a lot of young guys who could use some playoff experience. What do you think? I mean, I think that's valuable. Do you not?
It's supposed to be a deep draft this year is the only argument. And obviously, like you're saying, right now they've got a 29% chance of getting a pick that's in the top 5. I don't know. I'm really on the fence about this myself. I love to see the Raptors succeed, but I'd love to see some new talent come in a season where it's been a little bit down for the Raptors. It could be a real opportunity to get someone that's a top kind of pick and talent. So we'll see.
Well, what happens if you're the 10th seed and you make the play-in tournament? Your lottery pick would still be at the 10th seed, though, wouldn't it?
No, I don't think so. It automatically bumps you out. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
It takes you out of the lottery. Takes you out of the lottery if you make the playoffs.
If you make the playoffs. Okay, because I was
I'm
going to say
pretty
that.
sure. We'll have to fact check that.
Yeah, I'm not, because I was going to say that would make it interesting because then, like, why wouldn't you fight for a 10th seed if you're still going to be in the lottery?
Yeah, that's true.
Like, I think that would actually, if you're a tanking team, that's the perfect, like, not a tanking team, but a team that's like kind of like, we're kind of really good. We're not super great. We could potentially be good. Like, if you're in that 10th seed, you now have a chance, okay, we could make the playoffs or we're still in the lottery. Like, that's an amazing place to be for a team that's kind of like in the middle of the pack.
Yeah.
My opinion, anyways.
No, it's not a bad opinion. It's not a bad opinion.
All right, we're going to jump into our last From Deep question, Phil.
Okay.
The swish is out. It is. And we were going to bring this one last week, but we got a little bit late. And look at us. We're already 42 minutes into this one, so we'll keep this quick. We just love talking basketball, Phil. We just love talking
basketball.
We love talking basketball. What does the NBA look like without a three-point line?
Wow. What does the NBA look like without a three-point line?
I'm going to look it up right now. What year? I kind of have an idea what year.
Yeah, so I would say the NBA without a three-point line would be, obviously, you're not going to see the far shooting that we've been seeing. I would assume you're going to be seeing less little guys, quote unquote, air quotes, little guys, people under 6'5", really succeeding at the shooting side. And you probably see more of a focus on the back to the basket type of play that comes with the 70s and 80s. I would imagine that's what you would see, but it's hard to say.
I don't think players under 6'5" would be really in the league unless you're really, really good.
Yeah. Well, you'll always need that.
But I just mean, like, if you think about it, right? Like, with no three-point line, your really good players were always taller, about 6'5", 6'6". And then I still think you would see the expansion of people like Anthony Davis and Giannis who are dribbling the ball more. Like, think about Magic Johnson. He was 6'9" at point guard. And cool enough, I actually didn't know when they added the three-point line, but they added it in 1979, the first rookie year of Magic Johnson and Larry Bird.
Oh, there you go.
And then what says, they said, while certain college basketball conferences experimented within the early 80s, the NCAA didn't universally implement the three-point line until 1986, with high school basketball following suit a year later. So Magic Johnson and Larry Bird joined the NBA in their first season and they added the 3-point line. That's really cool. You know, I didn't actually know that. That makes Larry Bird as a 3-point shooter a very interesting story, because that means he
That much
learned
more
how to do it
special,
in
right?
the league.
Exactly.
That's
Yeah, that
really
much more
I
special.
didn't know that. That's really, really cool. And the fact is that, could you imagine being a college player for almost 7 years? You're playing college and trying to get to the NBA, and they don't even have a 3-point line.
Yeah.
That would have been interesting, because players would have been trying to shoot from there to show they had the range to be up their draft stock, but it wouldn't have done anything in college basketball because it still would have been a 2. That would have been some interesting news.
That's why Bobby Knight threw lots of chairs on the court, because he was pissed off with people playing and shooting from the 3-point line that didn't exist in the NCAA.
Okay.
There we go.
I didn't
We've
know
wrapped
that.
the mystery. We've wrapped the mystery. No, I don't know. I'm just playing.
Okay.
Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's okay. Don't you be taking threes. Only just 15 footers. And then Mr. Dorn's like, hey, no 15 footers. Only
Layups.
only 3 points of
layups.
layups. But no, I think that's pretty neat, actually. I didn't know that. And I do think the NBA now, like, I don't think Steph Curry.
No, I don't think so either. Yeah,
I
think you're right.
I think like people like Russell Westbrook would be even more crazy. I think your Kevin Durant's would still exist. I think Kevin Durant wouldn't have a 3-pointer, but he'd probably be you'd have guys like that playing point, like Magic Johnson. You try to find these 6'9" guys with some ball handling skills to play your point guard. It'd be cool.
And if you take it kind of back as well, obviously a lot more low-scoring, physical type of games in the 70s, right?
Yep.
So there's a lot of more play where it's like physical play, punches thrown. I could see it being more like a physical sport in that sense as well. And who knows how that evolves as well into the game. Yeah, really good question.
It'd be really cool. I guarantee your average height of your team would be like 6'8".
Yeah,
guaranteed,
sure.
because basketball's grown so much. You now are kind of expanding across the world, so you can go into Europe leagues and find these tall guys that can dribble and shoot. Yeah, I mean, you would have seen, like, basically would have been the Monstars from from Space Jam. That would have been your average team in the NBA. It would have been really cool. Kobe Bryant probably would have been a point guard. Definitely wouldn't have been the shooting guard. Yeah, that would have been very interesting. Now we'll never know, though, because Steph Curry said the 3-point line is here to stay, and I'm just going to destroy it and make it my favorite place to be.
Yeah, and who knows what other leagues around the world do. Maybe the European League installs a 3-point line and they become the NBA. They become the star league, right? It's hard to say. Great question.
Yeah. All right. Well, that is our show for the week. What do you have to say, Phil? Are you excited for the sim? Are you excited for your week?
I'm excited to win again. I'm excited to win again in the 2K sim.
All right, I gotta go.
Place one more time on your home court. It's gonna be great.
Oh, it's on my. Oh, that's right. It's on my home court.
Yeah, that's right.
You can disrespect me on my own home court. You can find yourself
a
new podcast job, Phil. A new podcast job for you,
shall.
sir. There'll be no co-host if I lose next week's podcast. So just be From Deep with Luke Jansen and Luke Jansen.
So, Luke, what do you think about this? Oh, Luke, what do you think about that? It's one big 45-minute monologue.
my inner dialogue. We could be chatting all day. Either or. Had a great week. Definitely give us a watch. Check out for our simulation game later this week. I believe we're going to try to drop it on like Thursday, Friday. Is that the idea?
We're going to do our best.
Something like that. Keep an eye. We'll post it up on Facebook when it's ready to rock and roll, and on YouTube. And past that, have a wonderful week, and we will see you next week for episode 7. Peace.
Like, comment, subscribe. Bye.